Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Comic Blast podcast. This is a really special episode.
So special, man.
Yes, we're going to be joined today by Grayson's dad for the first time.
My daddy.
Yeah.
Say hi, Dad.
Hi, Dad.
His name's not Dad, though. His name's Mike, and we've been planning on having him on the podcast for quite some time.
Yeah.
We were originally going to have him on for an episode right before episode 9.
Episode 9?
Yeah, remember we were going to do like a review of The Last Jedi right before.
Oh,
I
I thought we were still doing that. I just thought we were waiting till the summer.
But that was like going to be his like first real appearance on the
right.
show. But
yeah.
because
Remember, I've got to win Keenan over.
Yeah. So their plan is to eventually try to sway me into liking The Last Jedi one of these days. So we'll get to that probably later in the year. But we actually had to have him on the episode ASAP because this week was the start of Star Wars Celebration Chicago.
It's still going on right now.
Still going on. We're still like getting information and everything like that. But we just have so much that we want to talk about.
Yeah.
So we wanted to bring together a group of Star Wars people.
Are you guys sad though? Like I am, that we're
Yeah.
not there.
We it's funny because like we were all at Star Wars Celebration Orlando,
Right.
Which was the last one they had, but they took 2018 off.
Exactly. And it's been like semi-depressing that we're seeing all of this stuff.
Friday, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of in a perpetual bad mood.
Really?
Like I don't think I was like I realized I was in a bad mood, but I just didn't want to talk to anyone or anything because I was just like, I just want to be at Celebration.
I was looking at pictures of like Celebration or whatever.
Yeah.
My memories popped up on Facebook, and it was
like
the first
2 years
couple
ago.
2 years ago today, and I was
to
like,
the day.
oh,
It
yeah.
was crazy.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is so
painful.
But like we've all agreed, like you and I have agreed. You and I have agreed, and I've also talked to Cole that like Cole's a good friend of mine, that we are all going next year or whatever the next one they have is. We are going.
I think it's got to be next year.
Yeah.
I hope they don't skip another year.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Also, we got to go. Sorry, not to cut you off. We got to go to Galaxy's Edge, the park.
Yes.
Yeah.
I actually, before we were planning this episode, I totally forgot that was one of the things that I mentioned, and I'm glad I remembered it. So we'll definitely be talking
that
about
opens up this fall, right?
So it opens up. Yeah, do you remember the dates?
Disneyland is in May, and was it August? August
29th
Disney
for
World.
Disney World.
I thought it was much later in the year.
Yeah.
So I was wrong.
So it's pretty soon, and we're not too far away
No.
from Florida, so we could definitely make a trip
Oh yeah,
out there.
it's like 7-8 hours.
Yeah.
Drive.
I've got to tell you, Grayson, like made my heart swell yesterday because he told me when we go to Galaxy's Edge that he is going to let me be the first to fly the
Falcon.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was like, no.
I was like, because I told him I was walking in and I was like, if I happen to get chosen where I'm like to fly the Falcon, I'm gonna be like, no, let him fly it.
Yes.
And then I told him, I was like, I'm gonna be back there because they have multiple roles in the park.
Sure.
Yeah.
And so you can be like an engineer, a co-pilot, a gunner. I'm like, I'm gonna be in the gunner seat, or I'm gonna be like the engineer or something, like knowing my luck, and I'm gonna be like, what the heck are you doing? Like, what? Like, fly the ship better? Like, I'm just repairing stuff.
Don't get cocky, kid.
Yeah, like I'm just like repairing, hammering things away, and he's just like the ship's just blowing up and stuff. But I can't wait. Anyways,
it's gonna be great.
Back to what you were gonna say.
So there's a ton of news that we're gonna get to. Trailers have dropped. Some leaked trailers have dropped that we're gonna get to. Before we get into all of that, though, we want to go ahead and shout out our social media. You can follow us on Twitter at comicblast_. And on Instagram at comicblastofficial.
Yep.
Grayson's been doing a lot of stuff on Instagram. It's been really cool. Also, we do have a contest going on right before Avengers Endgame.
Yep.
We are going to be giving away 2 tickets to Avengers Endgame. You're probably not going to get them for opening weekend.
Yeah.
We barely got opening weekend tickets, and it's so late in the process now. But you're going to get them. The best way the only way to enter into the contest is to leave a review on our iTunes page. Not just rate. I've seen some people just rating and leaving like 5 stars, but not writing a review. You have to actually write a review because we don't see who actually leaves the rating.
Yeah.
So leave a review, and then we'll be able to randomly select one of you guys. But that's going to go on for, I think, another week, and then we'll select a winner right before the movie comes out.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
Which we're all going to see together.
Yes.
Again.
Opening night.
It's hard to, though, like, right now, like, since I'm in such a Star Wars phase because of Celebration, it's hard to be excited for Endgame, but then I know in, like, 5 days I'm going to, like, it's gonna fade out and be like, all right, Celebration's over, like, I'm done moping around, like, I'm glad, like, I can wait, be excited for next year, and then get back on the Endgame.
It's taken me
hype.
out of it a little bit.
Yeah.
I felt that.
I saw that there was a post on Facebook a while ago. It was like, okay, Celebration's almost over. Can we start talking about Endgame
Yeah.
again?
Yeah.
So,
I feel that.
Yeah.
It's just a weird time going on right now in the fandom. But let's talk about Star Wars Episode 9 to start with. That's the big thing that's going on right now.
No longer, we don't have to call it Episode 9 anymore. We can call it The Rise of Skywalker.
I'm still not used to that.
It's weird. I still want to call it Episode 9.
Yeah.
But,
well, we still call it all the other ones by their episodes.
yeah,
Sometimes
that's
too,
true.
so,
Sometimes, yeah. Keenan, why don't you... I'm more... Actually...
Let's start with the title.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think that there's any like significant meaning about like lineage or anything. I think this is just the legacy of Skywalker that they're talking about.
So the theory going around right now, this is what I'm believing at least. By the way, I like the title. There's people who don't like the titles, and people, I'm like, if you really think about it, almost none of the Star Wars titles are good. Like, if you really think about it, like, The Phantom Menace,
I was thinking about
Attack of the Clones.
I was thinking about The Empire Strikes Back.
Empire Strikes Back.
It would be the cheesiest
That would be
title.
Empire Strikes Back. What the heck is that? Like, honestly, The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi have, like, two of the best titles in the entire, like, all of the Star Wars films. But I digress.
Attack of the Clones.
Yeah, it's so goofy.
It's
like,
so
you're right.
bad.
It's like, even A New Hope. Like,
But it did stick with the traditional of those were supposed to be like Lucas wanted them to be like serials, like the old time serial movies he grew up watching that had those cheesy titles. So, I get it.
It works.
Yeah. So
I liked it.
Before I get into the meaning, like, so you like the title,
Yeah,
The Rise of Skywalker? Do you like it?
I like it. It was. I think the biggest thing I liked about it doesn't really tell you anything. It's just it's still a total surprise.
It's hard to tell the meaning. Like, it's hard to know if I like love it or like not as much love it until I know what it means.
Sure.
But that leads into like what I think it means. Currently, people are speculating that since Episode 3 ended with like Revenge of the Sith, then Episode 6 is Return of the Jedi, people are speculating that Skywalker will actually be the new order of Force users, that the Jedi will be extinct. Hopefully the Sith will be extinct. Who knows?
Sure.
And that the Skywalker or the Skywalkers will be like the legacy of like the new Force users, right?
That's exactly what I was thinking too.
Yeah. Which honestly,
100%.
which I really like that.
Yeah.
I think if that happens at least, but they could throw us for a loop. Like it's hard to say, but because I don't think they're not going to be like, some people have said like, oh, they're going to be like the new, every Force user is going to be called a Skywalker. And I'm like, no, that's not true. Because like, you've got to think about it. The Night Sisters exist. The Knights of Ren exist. Like, there's always going to be these different Force users that like exist, and they're not going to be called Skywalkers. But I think like the Jedi are going to go away from the ashes of the Jedi are going to be the Skywalkers.
So let me ask, do you think that maybe the direction they're going, so there was a book that I read that I don't know if that's considered canon, I think it's still legend, but it takes place like 25,000 years before A New Hope or something like that. And the Jedi originally, there was no light side, dark side.
They were in the middle.
It was in the middle, and it was
that's
basically,
what I'm thinking.
However you used the Force was determined. It was just the Force. It wasn't the dark. The light.
Right.
I wonder if they're kind of going that direction with this kind of.
It's something that was kind of like you kind of like got a sense that that's what they were kind of going for, or like teasing a little bit in The Last Jedi.
Yeah, because I think because they've made emphasis not only in like they started with the prequels and then in Clone Wars and now even in The Last Jedi, the line that Luke says about like the Jedi's being failure. They've really made emphasis that like, yes, the Jedi were there for good, but they really lost their way at the end of their time. Like they became leaders of war, generals. They weren't, their minds were kind of clouded. Like,
well, Yoda made the line about how the arrogance that some of them were. When he was talking to Obi-Wan, was it Attack of the Clones? Or anyway, he was talking
at the very end.
At the end, he was talking about that people's visions were clouded because of arrogance and things like that. And he's like, I see that more commonly in Jedi, basically.
Yeah, exactly. So I think like the Skywalkers is like would be kind of like the answer to this.
It's a reformation of the Jedi, and like, this is the new era of it, and that's a way to kind of carry on the like Skywalker legacy going forward. Yeah,
I mean the whole story is from the Phantom Menace all the way to Return of the Jedi, and everything was about balancing the Force.
And maybe like the end is finally it's balanced.
They're actually going to do this, balance the Force. So.
Like I'm glad it's the Rise of Skywalker and not like the Rise of the Resistance. That was like a rumored title, and I'm like, no.
Or the rumored
that's so
title,
stupid.
The Rise of Skywalker is good. There was one that was just Skywalkers, and it was like
that doesn't make any sense.
I think I saw something where there was like kind of. There was intentional leaks on titles just to kind of like throw people
probably kind of like Avengers.
Exactly.
Same thing.
Yeah, it's like intentional stuff that was going around to keep the actual title secretive. Because they waited a long time. They didn't wait this long to release the title for
The Last Jedi. All the like the Force Awakens and the Last Jedi. I remember like they released the titles. Before
we ever saw any footage.
It was like this is the title. Yeah. Like I think the Force Awakens was like later in the year that they announced it, and then the trailer came out in 2015. 2014. It was December 2014 when they did the first trailer. Yeah. Anyways, and then the Last Jedi was like a few months beforehand, and we knew it was going to be. No, did we?
It was in January of 2017.
Okay.
Was the title reveal. I remember they did like the little teaser poster that we got this week.
Yeah. Yep. Now they just decided to do kind of like what Endgame did and put the title with the trailer.
I like that.
Yeah, it is cool because then it's like it's kind of like it gives it even more.
You're waiting for the end.
Yeah,
just to see what.
And you're like, oh, okay. Yeah. Because honestly, I was so caught up in the trailer that I like wasn't thinking about the title. I was just like, all this stuff, and like especially with the we'll get into it. Like, so I mean, Palpatine.
Yeah.
Like
it's kind of the breakdown.
I mean that's. I mean, there's other stuff that happens in that trailer, but that's the big thing that everybody went. Whoa.
Yeah.
So were you watching the live stream, Keenan?
Yeah, I watched it.
I was watching it as well.
So when Ian McDermott
is like, roll it again. I was like, oh my god.
He's the only one on stage, and then the red lights behind him.
Yes.
So
oh my god. Cool. I've gone kind of back and forth with this. Like, I'm like really excited that Palpatine's in it, but I've also kind of thought, I'm like, did they do this just so they could try to win back some of the fans from The Last Jedi who didn't like it?
I think it works for the overall arc.
Yeah.
Because you're seeing that the villain of each of these trilogies apparently has been Palpatine. Every single one, and they're gonna end it with this one.
And it's been a very popular theme in the Legends books that
he was like
he came back a lot in the Legends books.
So yeah. Hey, Keenan, I want you to say thank you to Rian Johnson for killing off Snoke, because if Snoke didn't die...
good job, Rian Johnson.
That's one thing that I'm like, I mean, they've got a point.
The thing is, you have a point right there, but it also, like, I know that it wasn't planned this way. Like, because JJ has spoken...
But see, Kathleen Kennedy said it was the plan from the beginning, but I'm like, I don't believe
that's not true, because JJ actually said when he took over, he had a 2-year window. And he said there was no script at all, and they were starting from scratch. Yeah, and they had to figure out what they were going to do for this film and how to close off, this 9-film journey.
Honestly, it's like, I think it's working out for the better though, because honestly, I'm really excited. Like, are you excited now?
Okay, so full disclosure, and you guys probably already know if you do listen to the podcast,
we've probably said it like 800 times by now.
First, I'm a big J.J. Abrams fanboy. Ever since the show Lost came out, I've just been a big fan.
Love JJ.
I love what he did with The Force Awakens, and I hate The Last Jedi. So, with this coming out, like ever since The Last Jedi, like my enthusiasm for Star Wars has just been like really low.
I mean, I feel like it's kind of been that, like, for everybody. Like, granted, me and my dad, like, we both like The Last Jedi. Like, there's things that we like about it. But obviously, like, even you, like, when you walked out of that theater, Keenan remembers, like, you were livid.
You were gone. I turned around and you were gone.
Yeah, you just walked out. Exactly.
I mean, I was like, wanted to cuss. Scream. I was like, that is the worst movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But
then you thought about it.
Then I thought about it. We talked, and we you almost have to look at it as 2 movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's part of that movie that's still, to me, I'm sorry. And
I just fast forward.
I will say it.
Yeah.
And Keenan, you'll probably agree. There's half of that movie that's trash.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
it's just trash.
Yeah.
But then
there's no point.
But there's other part of it that it's like, oh, wow, no,
Yeah.
that's
There's just really good moments.
Yeah.
And I said that since the beginning. I was like, it has some of the best Star Wars moments in that film.
I think it just needed some simple rewrites and like
Rewrites?
I think honestly I could have written like the entirety of the second plot and made it that movie. Like I would have made I'm just saying, not that I'm like super smart or anything, but I could have made The Last Jedi like an amazing movie.
Well, we talked about it last week on last week's episode that we would have like scaled back the amount of characters in the movie.
Yeah, that was my thing with it. I listened to you guys last week and I agreed. I was like, it's kind of funny when I listen to you guys because I'm like, oh yeah, I'm riding around in my car going, oh yeah, talking to you guys. But I agree, they just put too much in it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like, I know where Grayson's a big, huge fan of Spider-Man, and the Tobey Maguire ones, the third one with Venom and stuff. They just put too much into it. Simplify it, and it makes a great movie.
And that's why, like, based on this trailer, I'm loving what they're doing.
All of them are together.
Yeah, it's just this like it's this adventure.
Like
with
I'm
this
sure,
group
like
of
they're gonna
people.
split up at some point because we see Rey is kind of off, like doing her training thing, and then Finn and Poe, Finn and Poe and Chewbacca and 3PO are all together.
Yeah,
but like that's really the only two plots we see. Oh, and there's also Kylo, so that's like at max it's like 3 plots.
And that very well could be some sort of dream sequence that she's experiencing with.
No, that's true.
With her alone in the desert and Kylo. It looked like Kylo. It looked like his TIE silencer.
Because you see, it's definitely his TIE silencer. People are like kind of missing out on that, and also you can see his gloves.
I noticed his gloves, and you can also see part of his suit that matches the same leather-looking suit.
Sure.
But other than that, they don't really. But you know, the thing is, though, the gloved hands and the way the controls are completely different than they were in The Last Jedi. The Last Jedi.
Yeah, well,
was
see, you also see. In like the frame of it like is red.
Yeah,
there's like red paneling around it, and you can even see they showed during the panel. There's a shot of him in the cockpit, and it like according to someone like I think it was maybe Star Wars Explained that I was listening to was said that there was like different paneling than what it looked like in The Last Jedi. Like it looks a lot bigger.
Sure.
Almost like they made it like roomier or something. But let's go through the trailer like. Just from like memory,
Step
just
by
like
step,
break it down.
So like that opening was awesome. I love the Luke monologue, like just the
man, it gave me cold chills to hear him talking like that.
Yeah,
that was just
it's like we've taught you everything you know and stuff. Which by that line right there makes me think like we're almost guaranteed to see the Force ghosts of. What I'm hoping, I'm really hoping for Yoda, Luke, Anakin, Qui-Gon.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping for all 4 of them.
Ben.
And Ben, right? Yeah. If I could see all of them, like that would make me so happy. Someone compared it to, Keenan and I are big Avatar and Korra fans, but did you ever watch Legend of Korra?
I never watched that.
Okay, well, this isn't a huge spoiler, but like in
Avatar, you mean Last Airbender?
Yeah.
Okay, not blue aliens on the planet. Gotcha. Okay, just checking.
Yeah. In season 2 of Legend of Korra, she's like kind of training to get her powers, and all of the previous avatars, including Aang, are all there, and she channels the powers of like all of them. And like someone tweeted that would be like an awesome moment to have, where she kind of like sees the ghosts of like them, and they kind of like help her out in some moment. So yeah, I'm pretty sure there's gonna be like Force ghosts in this movie. I'm really hoping at least.
I think it definitely is.
Yeah, I like what you're saying there because I keep referring back. I read. I don't know, probably 100 of these Legends books.
Right.
There's
so many.
There's so many.
There's so many.
And at first when they said, "All right, this is no longer," we're throwing them out. But you look at it, and they've really gone back and gotten a lot of themes from those. I mean, like Thrawn is around and things like that. So there was a couple of books that kind of had people like Force Ghost people giving assistance to newer Jedi and stuff. So
exactly.
I kind of like that. I think maybe they'll do something like that.
So we get the opening scene, and then it just kind of like starts a montage of really cool scenes.
Yeah.
So like Finn and Poe, they have like new costumes. By the way, I love like the costume designs.
All of them are great.
Finn's, by the way, this is the best Finn has ever looked like. I love his haircut and like the bright blue pants give me like that Han Solo and New Hope vibe. Like they don't look goofy.
John Boyega actually spoke about that on
I heard he was saying he's like, I love the blue pants.
That,
Freaking Poe looks exactly like Nathan Drake from Uncharted. Like people have made all that.
He still looks so cool.
Yeah, he looks awesome.
Yeah.
I love the scarf and everything. Also, Rey's costume design. Like I love that. It's
That's
like
amazing.
It's like it takes her Force Awakens look, and it takes her Last Jedi look, and it keeps that same vein, but she's also got that like that cool hood, and it's very like Luke, Leia.
Exactly, it's like Leia from A New Hope with her, you know.
Yeah. I really like it because it's like it's still true to her character, but it's not that different. It's like she had tan, and she went gray, and then she went white. It's like, but they're still they're still all the same. So
something you kind of skipped in the breakdown though. So we talked about it the other day. The ship that we thought was an A-wing on the darker, snowy looking planet.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thought it was an A-wing, but if you actually go back and look at it, it looks very similar to the ship that we see in Rey's vision.
That's flying off.
Oh, like her parents' ship.
It's the same ship.
That is her parents' ship though, because it's in the Force Awakens concept art book that they released.
Mm-hmm.
It's titled it's like Rey's ship or Rey's family ship or something along those lines. It actually has a title for it, and you can see two people. It's like a silhouette of two people and a young girl outside of the ship. So that's like actual canon that they've put out. That'd be really cool. I did not notice that. If that's her parents' ship.
I didn't notice it either. And then when I was going back, it was, you know, there's so many breakdowns and stuff, and it said. So I went back and looked at it, and Grace and I discussed, and sure enough, it looks like the same ship. Yeah,
it's. I hate that some of those breakdown videos though, because sometimes it's like 10 things only true fans see, and it's just like it's the thumbnail's just Lando. I'm like, any person knows who Lando is.
I saw that one actually.
It was like Looper.
Yeah,
I was
Looper.
Like,
that's what it was.
Okay, yeah. So but speaking of Lando, like, man, that's
cool.
I'm glad he's back. Like, I'm really happy Lando's back.
That scene where his laugh, that'll be my laugh when I'm at Galaxy's Edge. Yeah. When I'm flying the Falcon, it'd be like, you know, I was like, that was great to see.
I love Billy D. Williams because he's always been so dedicated to Lando. Like, he's voiced Lando in almost every single video game, animated stuff. I'm like, I love Billy D. Williams. I mean, he's almost like a real life Lando, just like the way he acts and
he's
stuff.
like what? He's like 80 something.
He's in his late 70s.
Is he late 70s?
Old,
Yeah.
There was a thing I showed him, and it was funny. It was from Solo, and it's
I saw my dead body.
He's laughing.
Best thing ever.
I'm hilarious. Like, too soon? Maybe. But is it funny? Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm so happy that Lando's back.
Did you notice that the Falcon has got a round dish back on it?
Oh, does it?
Yeah,
I didn't notice
when
that.
it goes into hyperspace at light speed, it's got a round dish on it.
Groundbreaking news! Round dish on the Millennium Falcon.
But it got smashed off in Last Jedi, didn't it?
I think so.
I think when they went down in the
it did
in the planet.
The mines.
It's always getting knocked off. Yeah. Like, just why don't they just adopt the thing that they did in Solo, where the dish is flat?
Yeah.
Like that's I'm just like, you don't have to replace it all the time.
Right. You can talk about Kylo restoring his helmet. And
that's what I was about to say. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's a good point to transition. Is like, it seems like JJ is just like retconning.
I don't think he's mad.
I don't think he's mad.
I think that he was really pumped about the ideas that he set up, and was kind of like disappointed that nobody attempted to execute on any of those ideas that he had planned. And I think that's why he actually came back, because I know he didn't want to do it at first. For a while, he didn't want to do any more Star Wars films.
Yeah.
And I think just the idea of him getting to come back and finish out his sort of vision, or make the best of what he could.
And change it around, adapt it a little bit, but still kind of keep it what he...
Yeah.
I mean, they even got, like... It seems like they're also getting a lot of George's vision for the original...
he said he met with him.
Yeah, like he consulted with him very heavily. And I'm like, so they're definitely taking some of George's ideas as well, which makes me pretty happy. Like,
of course.
I'm sure since you're you know a lot about The Force Awakens, like, in the concept art, originally they were going to go to Endor and go to the second Death Star, like scuba dive underwater and like I'm assuming it was the map to Luke Skywalker, part of it at least, and you even get to see like the Emperor's throne room, like Doug Chang, he's the concept artist for the movies now. He's like the new Ralph McQuarrie. He drew all that, and it looked really cool. Like, you could see someone swimming underwater, like past like the big window that's in the Return of the Jedi, like with the Emperor. And it seems like they took that, and now they're going to put it in.
In this
one, yeah, because the gigantic. Did you not know that was the Death Star at the end?
I know it was the Death Star.
Okay,
Was it They're not on Endor though.
We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know that.
That didn't look like. Well,
See,
I'll have to go back. And look at it,
there's more than just forest on
interesting.
Endor, but there's some
so
some
it's
water.
Like you're saying, he's trying to take back. He's trying to like take these ideas that he had.
Yeah,
and
like so because it's definitely in water. You can see
for sure.
But what me and you were saying.
I looked it up and there was and I know Wikipedia is kind of.
It can be hit or miss, but for the most part, it's pretty reliable.
But when it described the forest moon of Endor, it says it's only covered by like 8% of water, but it has heavy forest grasslands. Well, you can see when she's standing on the cliff, it's definitely a grassland cliff overlooking. So who knows? It could be Endor,
or either that, or it could be a different moon.
Yeah, and also I think it said that the Endor is a gas giant. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
That's one, and it's like got 28 moons or something like that.
Yeah,
so it could be
any one of those moons. Like
for
what we all know, like it could just be like it's on all of those moons.
Yeah,
like it really depends. That was just the forest moon was just where it happened to have like the shield generator for in Return of the Jedi for it. So that honestly, that makes me really excited. Like, I'm just back to the Palpatine thing. I'm just curious because we know Ian McDiarmid is in this film, and we know like Palpatine in some capacity is back, and it's not a cameo. Like, it's a big thing. It seems like he's going to be a role in it at least.
Yeah, because Abrams was actually quoted as saying, he said, "I'm surprised that
I saw that
nobody
got
leaked it because he was on set," which tells me it's not just a little hologram.
I don't think
thing
it's
or
I don't think
like
it's
that.
a ghost. It's definitely not a ghost because he wasn't a light side user.
Yeah, I see. There's people. Some people thinking like he could be. Did you watch all of Clone Wars?
No.
Okay, well, in the final season, I guess minor spoilers for Clone Wars. It's not really a spoiler, but Yoda goes on this vision quest, and he goes to Moraband or Korriban, which is like the Sith homeworld, and he finds like a gigantic ghost of Darth Bane. And it's not necessarily a ghost, as it's more of like an apparition, or kind of like his dark side essence like took over this tomb.
Gotcha.
Which was a big thing in Legends, so it was kind of come back. So some people are thinking that maybe like the remnants of the Emperor will be like inhabiting the second Death Star. But to be honest, I'm pretty sure he's still alive.
I think so too.
I saw an interview one day, and I had not even thought about it, but in Rebels, remember that Ezra goes to the area in between time and dimensions and finds.
What if he accessed the world between worlds?
And Palpatine actually had opened that up. So like,
you can hear him laughing and reaching out through it.
Yes, he's trying to, and so like maybe he
something
opened up a little portal, and he's been in another dimension all this time.
We could speculate probably all day about like what it could be. Like, there's the thing is, after like, I'm at this point where I'm like, I probably should just stop speculating as much and just like be excited. But you can't help it.
No.
Yeah.
Like, we're Star Wars fans. Like, we want to be like, ooh, but what if it's this? What if it's this?
I think that's part of the whole excitement, is like trying to figure it out.
That's what holds you over for 2 years in between these movies.
Yeah, exactly.
We
would die.
We still got 8 months before we're going to see these.
Yeah.
So.
I'm just happy though. Like, the Palpatine's back.
I'm so.
Are there any other notes in the trailer that like really stood out to you?
I would like to say that the cinematography looks great. Like, all the shots
when Kylo is like body slamming that one, or like choke slamming that one guy with like the lightsaber, he's using the side of it, the cross guard part of it. Yeah. Like, that shot right there was beautiful.
And that's only like a fraction of whatever is going on.
Yeah.
Did it look like a snow planet?
It looked like it almost
looked like
kind of like Crate.
What's the planet that the Starkiller base was on? When they were in the woods. For that fight.
Starkiller.
Starkiller.
Oh, you mean the Resistance base?
No, he's talking about Starkiller base.
Oh, okay. So it was Starkiller base. That was a planet.
Right now, people are thinking that Starkiller base actually used to be Ilum, the place where Jedi's got their lightsaber, and they converted it. So that's where they got all the power.
Because it could be.
But they also match up in the same point on the map. So, but they never explicitly said it. Anyways,
it looks like we're getting like it based on like all of the scenery that we've seen. We're going to be hopping between a lot of different planets. But I like it that it's not like we're going here with Finn and Rose, and we're going here with Rey and Luke. It's like this group. They're kind of like on a mission.
They've only announced one. No, there's been like 2 or 3 castings, right? One seems to be like a bad guy. He was I don't remember the actor's name. Is it like Richard Grant?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so he was in Logan.
Yeah,
so that's him. Then there was Kerry Russell, which we talked about a few weeks ago, or maybe last week.
Hopefully a Knight of Ren.
Yeah, I'm hoping she's a Night
Yeah,
Ranger.
because they still haven't said what she's doing.
Nope.
At all.
And then Naomi Aki, who is the
Lando's daughter.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
just
that's
she
my-
didn't deny.
she
it
didn't
the
deny.
other
It. She was
day,
like,
so-
I mean, hey,
Yeah.
so that seems
she
to be.
almost stumbled over that question a little bit.
Yeah.
So it
did.
seems like the only character that they brought back from The Last Jedi was Rose, because Rose is still alive. Because, I mean, obviously,
in a coma.
Holdo is dead. She's just in a coma the entire
That's what they
movie.
do when they don't know what to do with the character anymore.
Yeah.
We're just like, we'll just put him in a coma for a
coma.
little
No,
bit.
Yeah.
but that was actually a really awesome moment during the panel.
Oh,
When
it was
when
great.
when they cheered her on and stuff. Like, I'm not a big Rose fan, but like you said, J.J. Abrams, like, I think he said like one of his favorite things was actually casting
Ryan Johnson casting her.
Yeah, casting her and bringing her back. So I'm really hopeful for her character, because I'm not a big Rose fan, like I said, but there's a lot of girls that really like Rose.
I think the big thing was reason we're not a Rose fan is just her script was just her part was just poorly
Yeah, I
written.
mean, it was just there was really like not
yeah.
a good point to her in the
There's
role.
no point to her, and pretty much everything that she happened to be a part of was like cringeworthy or
Yeah.
boring.
Yeah.
And that's it. They had potential with Paige and Rose setting up the sister thing, but
I think she just had wasted potential.
the last thing that she did was screw up Finn's plan to
The best way
and then kiss Finn. And it was just like
the best way to compare it to her is like, see, I don't think she's like, I think she can be redeemed like as a good character, is because if you think about Jar Jar, like people did not like Jar Jar, and now like there's been so many great stuff. Like I love Jar Jar.
About
I think Jar
Ahmed
Jar's
Best.
hilarious.
Yeah, like I love him, especially like he was in a comic book recently where he gets a lightsaber and helps saves Captain Rex, and then him and Captain Rex go and like save a base or whatever, and it's like you gotta love it. And so like that's what I'm hoping. Like Rose is she got treated very similarly in that vein. She's not goofy like Jar Jar, but she just like it was just the way that she was perceived and the way she was handled. And I think she can definitely like be a much better
just
character.
really good with stuff like this. He'll figure out. I have so much faith in this film.
Yeah.
Like I just have been not like depressed at all, but like ever since The Last Jedi, like
Just been like it's just kind of been like it's not like you've been down, but you've just kind of it's not there.
I stopped like trying to think about it.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to think about it because it's gonna like it's gonna ruin it for me if I like overthink these films. Now.
Honestly, I don't think if we didn't have the Marvel movies, like I don't think we would have. I think we would have just been so depressed.
Yeah.
Like, because like the Marvel movies is what's been keeping me like so
sure.
excited. Like Infinity War and everything. Like that was what we were looking for, and I'm still looking forward to Endgame. But like, I wasn't really looking forward to Episode 9 that much. People were like, "Are you excited for Episode 9?" And I was like, I guess. Like, I don't know.
I told you I didn't see Solo opening weekend.
Yeah.
Because of the effect of The Last Jedi.
I was still a little bit excited about it because to me Solo was a really good movie.
Yeah,
I really
like
enjoyed
it.
Solo.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, they can still do good with this. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I loved Rogue One. I loved Solo, which I know Rogue One was before Last Jedi.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
But still,
Rogue One was like
it was like
the peak of
Yeah.
like my Star Wars like within the past few years. That was the peak because I was like, oh man, Force Awakens, now Rogue One, like both of these were great.
Good, yeah.
And then Celebration was like just a few months after that, like 4 months, and I was like, oh my god.
And then the
Star
Last Jedi
Wars.
trailer was coming out.
Yeah, and we were like, oh god, like all that stuff, and then it went down. But now this like is like the true rejuvenation because we've got the Rise of Skywalker, and then we'll get into it in just a second, is the Mandalorian, and then Clone Wars coming back in a new video game, and all of these new books. I'm just like I'm excited and happy to be excited about Star Wars again.
Yeah, that's the thing
Yeah.
for me. It's like I'm just happy to like be thinking about Star Wars positively and
Yeah.
just being excited again.
Yeah.
Being a fan again is what I'm just
Like I just
really
like I
excited
want to
about.
go. I almost thought about it yesterday, just literally just going out to the comic book store and just reading Star Wars
Yeah.
comes and like getting books and
See,
stuff.
that
'cause
was
I
me.
Like,
Like after the Force Awakens, I was like reading everything, and I was
Yeah.
just like getting invested in all these things, buying all the merchandise. I didn't buy anything from the Last Jedi like after
Yeah.
it came out or anything Star Wars. I haven't really spent any money on Star Wars since
yeah,
the Last
same.
Jedi.
And now I want to go spend a stupid
Yeah.
amount. Galaxy's Edge. I'm going to spend a stupid amount of money. I told Cole like
Start
all of
saving.
the stuff, and like he just sent me the gif of Michael Scott just saying, "I declare bankruptcy." It's like, yeah, pretty much.
Yep.
So yeah, anything else Rise of Skywalker you guys wanted to talk about?
I can't think of anything, but I know later we're gonna be like, God, how did we forget that shot or
Yeah.
something like that?
Mm-hmm.
But I think what's the one big thing? We'll get an opinion from everybody, but what's the one big thing that like got you excited about Episode 9 or the trailer?
It's got to be. I mean, it's just got to be Palpatine. Like, if I had to choose one thing off the top of my head, like it's just like hearing that laugh, seeing that he's coming back to kind of fill out this villain role that we were probably going to get from Snoke, but honestly, I'm glad that Palpatine is back to know that he's been doing all of this stuff, at least what we assume. It's just like, it makes it feel like it's more connected again, like connecting the prequels, the original trilogy and the sequels, like it feels even more intertwined.
It felt like they were trying to distance themselves from the other films with this trilogy.
Oh, for sure, because that's one thing that was really annoyed me, like not annoyed me, but I was a little bummed out, is that with The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, they worked so hard to create all of these new creatures and stuff, and I'm like, I feel like it's like an alternate universe Star Wars, where it's like there's none of the old aliens, or whatever. Like we're only seeing like these new aliens and none of the old ones. So I'm hoping Last Jedi like has a mixture of like those old and new. Sure. Solo did that well because you could see like there was a Rhodian in it, and like and so I was like, okay, so it seems like they're wanting to bring back some of these legacy creatures, but also introduce new ones. So yeah, I'm glad it just kind of feels cohesive.
Yeah. So Emperor for you?
Yeah. I'm the same thing with Emperor. The laugh. I mean, I literally like jumped out of my chair when I heard it because it was so unexpected.
Yeah, I went, oh my god!
I didn't think about that.
And then I'm like, well, maybe that's just some kind of. And then when
he comes after, you're like,
on stage, I'm like, oh, okay, he's in the movie, but. I think I'm kind of like Grayson. It seems to tie it all in together because we've seen from the comic books, the Darth Vader stuff now that Palpatine actually like created Anakin. Mm-hmm. So we know he plays the long game. He's the
ultimate the ultimate mastermind.
That's why I like that. It seems like he's the villain of each of these trilogies.
Yes.
From start to finish, he's been like the one constant. Yeah. Along with
I'm hoping from this reveal we finally get a proper like Plagueis Palpatine book again, like that's canon again, because that's one of the biggest books in Legends is just like the Plagueis book by James Luceno, and how monumental and like pivotal it was for the story of the Star Wars movies. And so I'm hoping if they don't recanonize that, at least, because they probably could. Yeah. I don't think there's anything that really defeats the purpose of it, but at least adapt it a little bit, change it around, get James Luceno back to kind of write that, and yeah. What about you? What are you?
Yeah, I think my biggest thing is like, or the biggest takeaway is just like I can see JJ's vision all over it, and just the fact I just am so
feels like
pumped.
A return to form.
Yeah, I feel like I just so pumped that he's getting to come back and just finish out these arcs the way he wants to.
I'm glad he's back. It feels like I feel like it's back in 2015 again, where it was like, oh yes.
I feel like just more comfortable and like confident that he's gonna deliver in some sort of way.
What was your tweet that you said? Like, it was something like, you said something about J.J. Abrams, and it was like I have J.J. Abrams is giving me hope for Star Wars again.
Yeah, he kind of just like refueled that like fire in Star Wars for me.
Yeah,
and that's why I'm just so excited. Of course, Emperor Palpatine is like a huge thing too. What do you think about? I saw something. I don't remember where I saw it, but there was the whole thing. Maybe you guys saw it on Twitter or something. But there's the whole idea that Kylo Ren already knows that the Emperor has been alive this whole time. And that he's been trying to seek him out, because there's the whole shot with he's speaking to Darth Vader's helmet and saying, "I'll finish what you started," or something like that.
So he's been trying to get him as like a master or something.
No, to kill him maybe.
Oh,
like from the beginning.
So like he's actually had good intentions the entire time.
No,
or something?
Not necessarily, but he could have been like using the First Order as his like or Snoke as his like gateway to Darth Sidious.
That's interesting.
That is an interesting.
It's just something random that I saw, but it's like obviously you have Rey's gonna probably find out that Palpatine's alive. You have Rey's way of doing it, and then you have Kylo Ren's way of doing it, and they're both trying to achieve the same goal, but obviously Kylo Ren's it's the wrong way of doing it. Just an interesting thought.
Interesting thought.
To throw out there.
There's so many
very
theories
far
now.
out there.
It's like,
but I love the whole "I'll finish what you started," because it's just like, well, Darth Vader wasn't that guy, or Anakin wasn't that guy anymore when he died. So what is he like looking to finish? Like, why is he worshiping him? Anyways,
I don't know, man.
Yeah, we could talk about Episode 9 for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
But
we probably should move on.
Let's get to the Mandalorian, which
yes.
It's just probably. It's just another thing to be excited about for Star Wars.
I've never been more excited for a TV show in my life. Like,
it seems so refreshing. Like the whole tone of it.
The cast, the crew, the directors, the setting, the feel.
Jon Favreau.
Like, oh my god, everything about this is just perfect to me.
I think what I like about it is the fact. So with all the movies, it's always been about the Jedi or the Sith. Or something. This has got nothing to do with them. Yeah. I mean, it might. I mean, there'll be some thrown in there, I'm sure. But but it's just like there's such a huge galaxy that surrounded this whole thing that didn't have to do with Jedi. Yeah. So that's what's cool about it.
So for people who don't know, maybe missed the panel, I'll kind of give a brief rundown. So the panel happened the day as we were recording. It was. And on stage, Dave Filoni, the creator of The Clone Wars and Rebels, he was on there. Jon Favreau. Kathleen Kennedy came out for a brief bit. The lead, Pedro Pascal, who's playing the Mandalorian, he was there. Gina Carano and Carl Weathers. They were all on stage. And all of the footage they shown was blacked out during the live stream, so that if you were watching it, like if you weren't in that room, you could not see it. Thankfully, people recorded it with their phones, so we get to watch this second-rate footage, but it's still something, I guess.
Yeah.
Speaking on that note, like I find it so stupid that they just I'm like, know people are gonna leak it.
Exactly.
Like, it's out there. Just let everybody see it.
Let everybody see it, and so they get like the true meaning, the true idea behind it, not some second rate.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like the old telephone game where I tell you something and you
tell
it down. So just let us have the truth.
Yeah, exactly. So they did. So they started off with like a sizzle reel, and it was showing more behind the scenes stuff. They said that it was 5 years after Return of the Jedi.
It's the outer rims of the
galaxy. It's the outer reaches. He's like this. He's a bounty hunter who's kind of making his way through the universe, and I mean it's a pretty simple plot. Like, he runs into people and stuff, but he's like, the Empire still exists, and like I don't know, it's weird. It's like he's fighting the Empire, but at the same time, like, he's not a good guy. Like, he's out for himself, you know. Yeah. And so we're not sure like what his backstory is, because they haven't said his real name, and any of the footage that he just hasn't taken his helmet off, which I love. It gives that old Boba Fett feel again, where you're just like, oh, you don't know.
I'm not sure we ever see his face. Maybe at the end or something, but
I mean, we know it's Pedro Pascal. Like, we know that's his face, but it's like, I don't even know if we're gonna learn his name. Which will be interesting. But first of all, I just love his character design. It is like so freaking cool. Yeah. I love the rifle, the pistol, the cape, the armor. Like, it feels like kind of what Boba Fett felt like when you first see him on screen, but like it still feels new. Like, you can see that, like, if you put them side by side, it's like that's different people. They both have the same culture, but they're still different.
Yeah,
it really gives a throwback to the Christmas special.
Oh yeah, that rifle is from
Boba Fett was, well, even the rifle, but Boba Fett didn't have the green and the yellow and stuff like that. Was a lot more plain and subdued in that.
Yeah.
It really throws it back to that. So it was cool.
And then so after the sizzle reel, they like went through some things. Then they showed a 7-minute clip of footage with a kind of a teaser, and this footage is just like, it is incredible.
It's unlike anything you've seen in Star Wars.
This is what I've wanted, like, since I was a kid. Like, after Return of the Jedi, I'm like, I just want this, like, So I was a big fan of the Jedi Outcast game growing up. That's one of my favorite games, and there's my favorite level. It's a fantastic game. He was the one who showed it to me. And there's one level where you go to Nar Shaddaa and you walk into a cantina, and in that game you are a Jedi.
Yeah.
But you walk in there and there's everybody's like drinking. It's like a cantina and stuff, but they're also like, there's like animal fights and stuff, like cage matches and stuff. Yeah. And you go in there, and then you just like, you're kind of, nobody really knows who you are. You walk in there, and like every time I went in that, I just felt so badass. I was just like, oh, nobody knows I have this lightsaber. I'm a Jedi, and it feels like that, except he's a Mandalorian. Like, it's the same feel.
Yeah.
Like, nobody knows who this guy is. Like, he's super mysterious. In one of the shots, like, he's walking through the snow. He has like this tracker thing, and then a door opens up, and he's just, you see the black silhouette, just him standing there. Everybody turns the way, and it's like, they said that he took inspiration from The Man with No Name, and from Clint Eastwood's films and stuff, and I'm like, I love that.
Yeah, that's what the footage really looked like to me. It looked like those old spaghetti westerns. The music was similar. You know, walking down or like a Tombstone where they're
Yeah.
walking down to the OK Corral and they're
Yeah.
about to have a gunfight.
Exactly,
It was,
yeah.
it was like, oh, this is cool.
In the brief little like teaser trailer they show, you see like an IG-88 or IG-86 droid. Like he's
so cool.
It's so cool. Like the way he's fighting,
cool.
like spinning around, just like
took out all
Yeah.
those
If
If
guys.
I'm not mistaken, I saw something that said that is actually IG-88.
It is.
yeah. Some people have said, but then some people have said it's not. So I don't know.
I
what to
think it
believe.
is going to be.
If it's IG-88, I'll be so happy. And then there's like you see Giancarlo Esposito. Is that how you say his name? He was Gus Fring in Breaking Bad. You ever seen
Gus, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
so
yeah,
he's
yeah,
in that,
yeah.
and he's playing an Imperial officer.
Oh, that's cool.
He's like one of the main villains, and behind him are Death Troopers, which is just
Dope.
awesome. I'm like, okay, love that. And then like the action is just incredible. Like there's a part where the Mandalorian he's shooting guys, and then he kicks down he kicks a guy in the chest, and then like whips and like kills two guys.
This is gonna be like it's not gonna be like overly graphic, but it's gonna
Like,
have a little
kids
bit more
can definitely watch
violence.
this, but it's
Yeah.
definitely like this is.
It's not like Rogue One action. You see Chirrut just like taking out guys with a stick.
Yes.
It's,
Yeah.
it's not like that.
Yeah.
It's like it's a little bit more graphic than that.
It's
even
a
though
little
the
bit more
action's
visceral,
great.
but it's like still there's not gonna be like blood and gore.
No.
But it's still like it's very like people were complaining when Resistance got announced. They were like, "This is stupid. Like this is so kiddie and stuff."
Yeah.
And I'm like,
That's for
"Yeah,
kids.
now you can."
It's a kid's show.
And like Mandalorian is like kids can watch it, like, but
The people who are gonna like it the most,
it's made for the
people like us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We were like I've been wanting this because I love the underworld in Star Wars. Like I love 1313 and Nar Shaddaa and like all of these just like these dirty, grimy areas in Star Wars, like the worn out feel where it's like you kind of
That's
feel
why
a
I
little
love the
unsafe.
beginning of Solo.
Oh, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
What's
like when
the planet? I can't
Corellia.
remember. Yeah, Corellia.
yeah, that part, and even in Rogue One when they're like going around on Scarif in the
Yeah.
marketplaces, it just feels like that.
Yeah.
Like you just
Yeah,
people
let's
are
hang
like,
out here a little bit more.
yeah,
There's
exactly,
like tension everywhere.
exactly.
Like, you don't know who belongs to who.
You never feel safe.
Yeah.
You said Scarif hanging out in the marketplace, not Scarif.
Jeddah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my
Jeddah.
bad. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't correct you again, son.
Sorry, I've just been. I've like there's a diorama at Celebration that's like of a gigantic Scarif thing, and I've been saying Scarif so much today for some reason, but I'm just so excited for this TV show, and it comes out November 12th, 2019 on Disney Plus, which they also set big news for Disney Plus.
$6.99.
It's like so $7 a month or $70 for an entire year. That's really good.
Yeah.
I think jump on that 70 for a year because you never know if the prices
Can
are
we go
like,
up?
Yeah, lock
for
it
sure.
in. And,
Yeah, like honestly, and then there's gonna be so much content on Disney Plus between like the Marvel shows, which they announced like some of the. I mean, there was titles that we already knew,
Yeah.
but like WandaVision and
That was weird.
that's
WandaVision.
That's the
Yeah,
name of the
I
one.
didn't
Yeah.
like that.
And
I saw
then
where-
the Falcon and Winter Soldier,
Yeah.
which is awesome.
I saw Jeremy. They said that Jeremy Renner was going to
Hawkeye
be doing a
series.
Yeah, he's got a series.
Yeah. So Disney Plus is going to be loaded. Like Mandalorian has me sold. Like,
Do you think they're gonna do a Netflix style where they drop all the episodes at
We were
one
talking
the
about
way,
that. We
yeah.
wondered.
So we were
Yeah.
discussing that, and the way they worded it, it makes it seem like they are. That it's gonna all drop on November 12th, the day that it comes out.
That means like on November 12th, we're just gonna have this like library of shows to watch.
Yeah.
That we like new original content.
Yeah, it could be an episode a week thing, but I know like at least when Disney Plus drops, God, I hope it doesn't crash.
I know.
Like, but it seems like at least the very first episode will be on there. But I'm kind of getting the feeling they didn't say how many episodes there was gonna be. Is
I think
it
there's 10.
10? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm so
I
excited.
know they went through all the directors. Did you see at the panel they went through all the directors?
Yeah, so there's
They like showed Taika Waititi like filming it. Everybody just like started freaking
started
out.
screaming
Yeah.
and stuff. He also voices the IG droid.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, there was
of
a
course.
John Favreau posted a picture and he's back there and I'm like, that's gonna be
So of course he is.
hilarious.
What is that going to
Funny
sound
choice.
like?
Yeah, like
I get in that big ship. Want to come?
Yeah.
like Korg IG-88.
Yeah.
Like that's gonna be great. I love
Yeah,
Taika Waititi.
He's great. So this is gonna be a funny droid, probably.
Yeah, or either that or he's gonna be almost like HK-47, where he's funny. I don't know if you guys ever played the Knights of the Old Republic games, but in HK-47 he was kind of like he would always say. Like he would call humans meat bags and stuff, and so he was just like, "Hello there, meat bag," and like all this stuff, and he was funny, but at the same
Not
time,
intentional.
and like he was like a killer robot, but at
Yeah.
the same time, like he hated people, but he wasn't like it was
These
just
are the
twisted.
droids I like. I don't like the BB. Like BB-8's fine. He's fine or
BB-8's
whatever. But I like K2SO.
Yeah.
K2 is great.
Someone who has something to add.
That's
to
also
the
another
story.
thing is the K2 and Cassian thing, because Alan
gonna be
Tudyk
great.
confirmed
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't wait for that, man. I'm just excited for these Star Wars shows.
I'm so excited for Star Wars again.
I know,
getting
man.
goosebumps
I
now.
I've been talking with you guys, and I've been talking with my buddies, and I'm just like, I just want to go home and like play Star Wars games and read books and comics
You
and
almost
watch
feel
the
guilty.
movies.
Right.
Do you feel guilty? Like I should be watching like Marvel movies right now and getting ready
Yeah,
for
for
Endgame.
Endgame, and you're just like Star Wars,
Yeah.
Star Wars.
I've been doing that for weeks, so I'm
yeah?
like, I can
So
take a
you're
break
almost
now.
ready.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm ready to go. So,
Yeah.
Matter of fact, Grayson and I, we had an interesting discussion. I caught some stuff that he didn't even think about.
Oh yeah.
Well, what's the discussion?
I watched, which I know it's your favorite movie, Thor: Dark World.
Oh yeah, that's
and Age of Ultron, and there was a couple. I think actually it was major Age of Ultron when Thor has his vision.
yeah.
And it's a vision of Ragnarok, but also two of the people get hit by a lightning bolt and they like turn to dust. And it was and then when they're standing there talking, Stark, and when they're, it's after Ultron like comes to life and escapes, and he's talking about it. He actually said like, this is our end game.
Yeah, he's like,
up there's the end
Up
game.
there's the end game.
Yeah. So
He
anyway,
also thinks that. What was your thing about Captain America and Peggy? You said something about that.
Oh yeah, so there's nobody wants Cap to die. Everybody's like, oh, he's going to die, but I think
can't
that
do
may
it.
be Cap's vision of he's going back in time and staying.
Oh,
with
so
Peggy.
you're talking about like the
Because
fear
that-
visions
she's
that
yeah,
put
because
into
she says
everybody.
because
Ooh,
she's like
that's
Peggy
cool.
says we can the war's over, we can finally have our dance, and I was like maybe.
Oh, if it ends with that
Yes.
like line,
Yeah.
oh my gosh,
Yeah.
we're
And when she's saying the war, not just World War II, but the war, the war,
Infinity War.
Infinity
Dun, dun,
War.
dun.
She said that. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Okay, I can.
So
wait.
anyway, starting.
I'm already excited for Marvel
Yeah.
again now, but I'm still like, I'm just glad to be
Sorry to
excited
digress
for
from
Marvel.
Star Wars, but
That's okay.
I had to show some of my
I'm
nerd
glad you
powers.
said that because I was like straying away from my excitement for Endgame, and all of a sudden it like jumped back
Feels
up.
rejuvenated a little
Yeah,
bit. Yeah.
I'm like overwhelmed
I'm
with
like,
excitement. Now.
I'm so glad that we have like all of this stuff now.
Right.
Like, it's just
Yeah.
such a good time to be a nerd.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like I can't wait.
This- I'm telling you, when I was a kid, and probably when you were a kid, this is the stuff you got made fun of. Like,
Oh yeah,
like
that's
comic books.
that's
and,
one thing.
I got made fun of.
It's so cool to be able to do this because being a nerd now. Well, I still have people that make fun of me, but because
Yeah.
I'm 45 years old and they're
It's
like,
cool to be a nerd.
It's kind of cool now.
Yeah, but it's still kind of cool. But yeah, it's like I kind of hit it when I was a kid, but now I'm like, no, I'm just straight up. I'm like, I'm a Star Wars
Yeah, you
nerd.
just own it now.
And
like,
if you
go
don't,
around.
if you don't like it, oh well. So
yeah,
what?
exactly.
I think at once like it hit 2010. Like I think that's when it just started getting kind of
Started
cool to be
blowing up.
because I was like, I remember when kids made fun of me for being excited for Iron Man and the Incredible Hulk, and I'm like, look who's laughing now.
Yeah,
whatever. Like I'm like, I know
yeah.
more than all of you guys,
and you see them in the theater.
yeah,
or
and I'm
whatever.
like, yeah, you freaking
To
losers.
show you how cool. So I listened to one of the podcasts I listened to a lot. There was a guy on there. He was on there a couple weeks ago, and he just retired as a Navy SEAL
Oh, really?
for 35 years in the Navy SEAL, and he on that podcast got to talking to one of the guys about the 501st. And
really?
and not like the movie 501st, like the 501st
Yeah,
local
really.
chapter
Yeah.
and stuff. So I'm like, oh, Navy SEAL, Star Wars.
Yeah,
nerd. I like
exactly.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
all right, yeah, I'm cool.
Speaking
I'm
of
all right.
501st, that was the thing that they kind of coming full circle back to Mandalorian. They mentioned they ran out of people to be stormtroopers in the Mandalorian.
Ooh.
And so they were like, and so Dave Filoni was like, well, I know some people who are some stormtroopers. So he
course.
called up the local 501st people, and a bunch of 501st people in their stormtrooper armor that's honestly better than the movies.
Yeah.
They all got to be in there, and now
course.
their armor is screen used. So they got fans to be in the movie. And what was great is they didn't even have to direct them. They
Yeah.
acted like stormtroopers already.
That's why I'm
Well, yeah,
excited about
you
this.
think about it because, like, remember at Celebration when we were walking in and there's a stormtrooper standing there and he's going, "Move it along."
Yeah.
Like you're
Yeah,
seeing here.
yeah.
He's
Exactly.
just directing people, just
They
Yeah.
spend their life like dedicated to being a stormtrooper.
And people love it, and so it's so cool. Like they've been doing this stuff for charity events, and now they can say like my armor was used in an actual Star Wars
Exactly.
screen.
Yeah.
And it
That's
was
why
like
I love stuff.
So
I
now my
love
armor's
stuff like
worth
that.
$20,000 instead
Yeah,
of $5,000.
exactly.
they had men and women in there too.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's awesome.
That's pretty
I
cool.
love that they're doing stuff like that.
It makes me really happy.
It's like just appreciating the fans and their investment and stuff.
That's
like
pretty
that.
cool too. With the way
So
Favre's. Well, I know a guy.
It was Dave Filoni.
Yeah,
he was
Dave Filoni?
he was like,
Okay.
yeah, I knew. He's like, well,
I know a guy.
I know some stormtroopers.
They show
like,
up at every panel he does.
Yeah.
Did you go to the Rebels panel in 17? They lined up
No.
in front of the stage while he was talking or whatever.
I think they
really
did
cool.
they did the same thing with Clone Wars this year, today, with they got a bunch of clones
we should get into Clone Wars real quick, actually.
Yeah.
Before we run out of time.
Yeah, let's move on to Clone Wars.
You watched the panel, though.
I did watch it. I watched it
I haven't
live
watched it.
from beginning to end. Okay, one little mini rant at the beginning. So they streamed it online and they streamed it fully. They didn't hold anything back, so they didn't black things out like in the Mandalorian. But as you know, they stream from the celebration stage. So the one where they have the people who come up and the ones that we've been went to. This time it's it's almost like a 270 stage. You can see it from all the way around here. So it's like a catwalk, and
Gotcha.
the interviews is right here, so you don't have to be in front of it, which is really cool. But Jonas Suetamo, the guy who plays Chewbacca now, he just kind of stopped by and popped up on stage, and he was up there for 15 minutes, and the panel didn't start till 3:07 or no 4:07 or whatever the time it was. It was time for the Clone Wars panel to start, and so and I was like, oh my! I was watching on Twitter, they were talking about Clone Wars, and I'm like, get to the panel. Luckily, they didn't start it just in the middle of nowhere. They started it from the beginning, so we were a little bit behind. But yeah, so it started out, and they Warwick Davis was the host, and they got Dave Filoni and all of the cast to come out. It started off with Sam Witwer.
Warwick Davis, he's such a great host.
Oh, I love him.
He was so great.
I was
hosting.
I commented on a thing. They did an interview with him on the celebration stage, and I'm like, Warwick Davis is one of my favorite actors in Star Wars because he's so humble and he just loves being a part of it. And he's not I know that some Star Wars actors can be a little cocky sometimes.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I'm in Star Wars. Look at me, and they kind of brag about it a little bit. But Warwick is he's been in it. He's been doing this since he was a kid.
Literally a kid, yes.
Yeah. And he's so humble about it. But yeah, they came out with a new trailer for Clone Wars, and I'm so excited. I had full on chills, goosebumps, like tears coming down my eyes. I am so ready for this to end because it's crazy. A year ago,
There was no Clone Wars.
There was no Clone Wars coming back. And then in July they were Clone Wars was saved, and I lost my mind. And this trailer, the clips they show, I'm just I'm so excited for.
Did you see the trailer, Keegan?
He showed me the trailer.
Okay.
I haven't finished Clone Wars. That's something that's still needs to be done for me.
You better do it this summer. After
I will.
Endgame, you should do it because then
we're gonna hold him down. And
When is this
tape
new
an
season
iPad
come
to his
out?
face.
they haven't said, but
So,
how are you going to watch it though?
It's going to
'Cause
be on.
It's not on Netflix.
It's going to be
anymore.
on Disney Plus.
Yeah,
That's
for
confirmed.
sure. Yeah.
Hopefully in chronological order. That'd be really cool if they released.
That's
it
what I was
that way.
hoping because I was that's one thing that's really annoying is you have to go back through and play it, and I'm just put it in chronological order.
Yeah, that's what I did. I went back. I pulled it up on StarWars.com, I think it was, and I just skipped around and watched.
Yeah,
it.
you just look at
that's
the
what you
list.
have to do. So I'm hoping on Disney Plus they put it in chronological
Just do
order,
it.
which would be so nice. They could put in parentheses, they could label it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but then in parentheses put season 2, episode 1. But it's you can
way
either
you need to
choose
watch it.
chronological or regular. But in the trailer, you see, it's heavily focused on Ahsoka,
Big
you
time.
said.
It's going to be very interesting to see where she has been from the time she walked away from the temple till.
To Rebels.
Spoilers for Clone Wars, but it's been out. She left the Order in 2010, so it's
Well, and there's one scene in the trailer that. So if you read the book, it's got the flashback scenes in the book.
Yeah.
Where she fights Maul.
Mm-hmm.
And that scene
They have to keep it in. They have to keep it in continuity with that.
They showed that on the trailer.
So in
that's going to be cool.
So in the Ahsoka book, they show flashbacks of the Siege of Mandalore. So it opens up and she fights Maul, and they keep the dialogue the same and everything. But one thing that's really cool is I don't know if I told you, but I told you. So they got Ray Park to come back and do the motion capture for the fight, and it's so cool because you can see when they're fighting. You could always they've never done really a lot of motion capture for the Clone Wars and stuff before,
right.
but you can tell the way they were moving. It was very realistic looking movement.
Right.
Whereas previously in Clone Wars, it's been they have very they animate the movements and the fights and things like that. It was just a very emotional trailer, and I'm like, I'm so glad that Disney finally was like, let them come back, especially.
There was so much of the story that was just left that you didn't know. You don't know what happened between here and Revenge of the Sith. It's like, where's all?
He said he had to go back and change some things, honestly, for the better, because for people who don't know, Ahsoka was in Rebels, and even Maul was in Rebels, and they acknowledged that they had met, and so then he had to change some things around, but honestly, he said it worked out better. And Sam Witwer, who voices Darth Maul, and he's like a huge part. I love Sam Witwer, by the way.
He's the best.
He was saying, like, you know how big of a Star Wars fan Sam Witwer is. Like, he knows his stuff.
It's scary. It makes me feel like I'm not a Star Wars fan.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
like,
did you go to that in
the Showdown?
17?
I didn't get to go, but I watched it online, and it's just like. But he didn't win that one.
No, he did not win.
He lost on like the last question or something like that.
But he'd been up for 48 hours straight or something like that. He was so tired.
But he's won like every other one before.
Yeah, and they did the new one yesterday, but they're going to upload it in a few weeks. So
is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So he said like that he got the script and like he actually like his jaw dropped.
Really?
Like, how good it was. And he's like, and I'm not saying that as like, oh, that's really cool. Like no, like I was actually shocked.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
that's cool.
I'm very excited. It's just so cool that they got Ray Park to do the movements from all, and then like the voice. It's just like in Solo.
Yeah.
Where it was like that's the same thing. Like I love that. Like it's the true Maul, because I think Sam Witwer is like the definitive voice of Maul.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I don't even think they actually. In the Phantom Menace, they didn't even use Ray Park's voice.
Right.
No, they didn't.
Yeah. So he's always been dubbed over.
Right.
So which is actually like, I actually kind of like
that's
that.
His
I'm like,
character.
that's like
forever.
Yeah, exactly.
The whole experience of Celebration and everything that's come out, whether it be like The Mandalorian or Episode 9 or like we're talking about with Clone Wars, it really feels like they're trying to not like bring in the fans that were upset, but they're just trying to like have the fans be unified. Like they're bringing in things that people have been wanting. Because like at first, like I said, it seemed like Disney wanted to separate themselves from the old Star Wars a little bit.
Yeah. Trying to do their new thing, not
exactly.
be retread the same ground.
And now they're like really like bringing in the the hardcore.
They even
fans.
said, kind of going back to Mandalorian, they even said they were bringing in a lot of Legends elements and stuff. So they're like, like we said, they're bringing in like this expanded universe stuff. They're bringing back old stuff, but like that's what I'm loving.
They're making good moves right now.
They're blending that old stuff with that new stuff, like. Because they know what
that's
the new
way
stuff
it should be.
that people exactly.
It's like you can still kind of like advance it, but also bring in
there's
some of that
so many
great
great
stuff.
eyes and the ideas and the.
You can't just like
stuff.
discredit all of this great stuff that's happened before you.
Yeah.
It's like you can't let the past die per se.
Yeah.
You can remember it.
You know what's so funny about that? So the video game.
Yeah.
So the tagline for the video game is accept the past.
Oh, I thought.
And I'm like.
Yeah.
Because it was like don't stand out, accept the past, and I'm like, is that like subliminal messaging of like the Star Wars fandom? Like they went from let the past die to accept the past and don't stand out too much, like or whatever. Like,
felt like it, but I'm sure that's not the intention.
No, definitely not. It's funny now thinking about it in retrospect.
I love it. I think that Lucasfilm or Disney are just making all the right moves right now to kind of just bring the fan base back together.
This year, like, it really still upsets me that we're not at Celebration because, like, there's like 5 big things. So we've got, Episode 9, like there was the panel for that. Then Galaxy's Edge, the park, which they were talking about that. That's really exciting. Everybody's there for that. They even have merch there from it. Then Clone Wars, Mandalorian, and the new video game. That's like 5 huge things.
And
for
it's not even over.
1 year.
One year. I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
There's still one more day.
Yeah, we don't have any idea what's coming tomorrow.
Tomorrow is the 20th anniversary for Phantom Menace. That's the other big thing. I'm like, that's
cool.
That's 6 big. I really hope they get Liam Neeson, and I think Ray Park is there, but I hope they get like Liam Neeson and somebody because I think they said he may be coming.
I know Hayden Christensen's there, but he's not a part of that movie or whatever.
Jake Lloyd's in prison.
Sad story.
That is really sad.
Yeah.
Like that's what you show. Like, I'm so glad that people are rallying behind Ahmed Best, who played Jar Jar, and Kelly Marie Tran, who played Rose, and even Hayden. Like they're really loving these people because they got so much hate back in the day from these people who were just so evil and like
Celebration is like the true fandom there. Like they're the realest and most genuine.
That's what I told him. I said, if you go to Celebration, that means you are a true Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
Like Now that doesn't mean if you've never been to Celebration,
You're not
you aren't
one.
one.
Yeah.
Like those exist, but like
You can talk to anybody at Celebration.
everybody
have a
there are
conversation.
the nicest people.
Yeah.
Like it's so nice. I was telling someone, I don't remember who it was, but it's like you all go there and it's so easy to talk to people because everybody has a common ground. Like it never is awkward with anybody. Like I remember just in line just talking to random people and like
I had some people that were, so we were talking earlier about, and for everybody that can't see it, we're talking about the pen collection. So pen collecting is a huge thing.
Oh,
you know. And there was a couple people I just walked up into line because you had to go to the different booths.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, are you going to get your pen? Because like I remember one of them was you had to buy a Pop Funko and then you could get a little Darth Maul pen. Mm-hmm. But you had to buy, and the line was just all day.
There's also a lottery,
every day.
so you couldn't even get in.
Yeah, you couldn't even get in. And I just
remember
walked up.
that.
This guy's like, hey, are you going to get the pen? And he's like, nope. And I was like, can I give you $10? And he's like, sure. I did that like 3 or 4 times. People
That's cool.
just getting it, just gave me their pen, the pen that they weren't even going to buy.
I remember being in the line. So you remember the first day, like how bad the line was. So I remember that when we were waiting in line, there was a guy and he was in a scout trooper outfit, and we started talking to him, and he was in the Air Force or the military, and he was there with his wife.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, it's just so cool. Like there's
like a
actually,
family.
There's like a lot. It's there's just a great community of Star Wars. Like there's always going to be those toxic people, I feel like, but I don't even think those people
They just happen to be loud, but there's not like a million of them out there.
Yeah.
That's why I try to tell people, I'm like, don't bother with fighting with those people because you're just like bringing.
You're talking to a brick wall.
Yeah, you're just like bringing more like division and you're just animosity.
This is like I'm glad like it
Don't
feels like
bother.
this has been like the true unification of Star Wars again.
This
Like everybody
experience.
feels united again. We're all like excited. And it's like I just don't feel like any hate like on the internet anymore.
Yeah.
Like
It's a good time.
I quit following people who.
Do you think it hurt them last year not having a celebration?
No.
Maybe.
Nah, I think it's probably good.
I think it was
now.
good.
Like in retrospect, it's probably like really.
They probably
good
took
they
it that
didn't
year
do
off because all they had really was Solo. There was nothing big
Yeah.
last year. There was no like
It was
games
like right
or-
off The Last Jedi happening.
Right.
It's just like
They
not a
were
good
like
time.
we probably shouldn't do one last year, but like this year because there's so many things that's going on all in the same year. Phantom Menace, like the movie, like I said, everything that I mentioned before.
Yeah.
It's like they had to do a celebration this year, so I think they took a year off just to recuperate. and
Also,
stuff.
like they got a lot of backlash for Celebration 17, just the way it was ran.
It was really poorly
We
organized.
talked about that. It was like
It was tough.
That first day. Oh my gosh.
It was miserable for us.
Luckily,
We
they-
barely got in. Like
Yeah.
you can tell.
Luckily, they started.
you told me about that.
Yeah, the security guard started yelling, at, veterans and firefighters, police, and,
Right.
and I happened to have my ID with me, and it was like, yeah, just go to this door, and we were like, oh, thank God,
Gosh.
because that building.
It wrapped around like 3 times.
If you've
I'm gonna
never
hang out
been
with
to
you guys.
Orlando to see that convention center,
It's the biggest
huge.
in America, I
Yes,
think.
it is.
Is it?
huge.
Yeah, it's the
Yes.
biggest convention center
It is.
in America.
Oh man.
So it was like you're walking like 2 miles just to get around the building.
Yeah, I went on Google Maps and drew a line around it, and it's a mile around the building.
My friend Trey and I, we got there. It was the Friday. No, it was Thursday. Because we were gonna stay over for The Last Jedi. We were gonna stay overnight, and we got there super early. It was probably like 4 or 5 or something like that. We packed a bag. We had like
PM?
stuff. Yeah, 4 or 5.
Okay.
And that's when the line started to go around. Like they emptied out the whole convention center because there was like a bomb sweep, and then they emptied it out, and then there was just a line wrapped around the whole thing. We basically made a full lap all the way to the beginning of the convention center. So we were still excited. We were like, well, we're still early. We're gonna get a good spot. We'll be able to make the panel. And then as we kept walking further, in each corner we passed and saw another line going across the building, we just got more and more upset. Like as we were just walking around, and we ended up walking like it had to be over a mile.
Yeah.
And then we never got in, obviously.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, they changed it around this year where it's
like a lottery thing.
Yeah, it's a lottery
Smarter.
like digital app thing, and so now you don't have to stand outside in the time like you know if you're gonna get in or if you know if you're not.
Exactly, because like when you could stay overnight and you still don't know if you're going to get in or not, because we didn't get in, we stayed overnight.
Yeah, that was awful. I remember like I had texted Trey because I like I like told him I was like, yeah, so like do I need to like get there early or like what? And he's just like, dude, just
don't even bother.
Don't even
Yeah.
show up, man.
Because
Like,
we got to Orlando, it was like 2:00 in the morning because we drove, and we got there and he was
I
like,
drove too.
and he was like, should we go try to get in line? And I'm like, we couldn't even figure out where the line was because
Yeah.
at this point the line had moved inside
Right.
into the queue. And
we were in that. We were like inside where like the maze was going around or whatever.
People had tents and sleeping bags.
Did I ever tell you? So like I had nothing. I was sleeping on my laptop bag. Like I wasn't expecting to.
I saw a picture of you laying on the floor.
That was Trey.
Was that Trey laying on the floor?
He had like his blindfold on and everything like that, and earplugs. And he was like asleep, and I was like really upset because I'm like freezing on the concrete, cold ground. Yep. So eventually, like after a while, I kind of started to doze off, and I was like, thank God, like I had that relief. Like I know I was gonna fall asleep.
Yeah.
I kid you not, like 10 minutes later, all of a sudden I hear, burr, 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 and they brought like a DJ out. And then all of a sudden, I kind of like feel the ground moving a little bit, and there's like people jumping in front of the DJ with their lightsabers with the music.
Gosh.
Oh my God!
It was like 1 a.m, and I was like, "You gotta be kidding me!" I was like, "This is the worst experience."
Yeah, it was rough that first day. Like they put out a public statement saying, they were like, "We are so sorry."
They're like, I remember they're like, "We're sorry about the first day or whatever," and I was like, it felt like 3 days to me. I was like, the first day, I'm like, I've been going through this for 3 days, it felt like.
The second day for us, though, was like, since we knew about the thing, we just walked straight to that door I went in. We didn't even stand in line the same day. We walked right in. It's like, here's my ID. And they're like, come on in.
I wish I knew you guys at that time. I was like in every single line.
We are going next time, I swear. We are going to make it.
Even though they're not doing any Star Wars movies apparently until 2022 at the earliest.
Yeah.
So there will be nothing other than shows.
I really hope there is one next year though, because even if there's not a bunch of stuff going on, like
it's cool to just.
I just like being there, man.
Yeah, I just want to see the stuff, man. Like,
I want to. Honestly, if there's not anything going on next year, that gives me time to be able to like. I want to pay some money and meet some of the people. I really want to meet Sam Witwer.
Yeah.
I want to meet just some of the people. Walking around, you can walk around, and also the smaller panels are really fun. Yeah. Like even the lower organized ones are just like really entertaining.
And one of my favorite ones that we went to had the pilots.
The pilots.
Yeah, that was. I mean, there was hardly anybody in there.
I had a band for that one, but I didn't go.
We went.
I was too tired.
It was the pilots, and then there's still a pilot. The guy that played Akbar, Mike Quinn, that played Nine Nub, was in there, and it was hilarious. They were so funny.
Really?
Yeah.
Stuff.
It was great. It was like that was also the day I got sick.
That sucks.
2 years ago today, I was laying in bed
throwing up
because this celebration is like an extra day.
Yeah, that one ended on Sunday. And
even the last day was like so depressing. Like when I was, were you there the last day?
So I took him back to the hotel because he was sick, and then I went back and I met Jesse and Cole.
You just saw like everybody was walking around really sad because they knew it was coming.
And we got into the big auditorium that day.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, we managed to get in.
I didn't even get into that
for the final, and they showed the trailer and stuff, and it's like, when I say the trailer,
the closing ceremony,
ceremony video or whatever, and it was like. I don't want it to be over.
Yeah.
And then
did you drive home all sad?
And then the next day
we stayed that night.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then the next day, like, oh man. Well, and then there was the whole. That's another conversation for another day. We drove home. We were just not in a great mood after.
I was by myself driving home, and I left after the closing ceremonies. I left right before the closing ceremonies.
Yeah.
And it was like I took Trey to Tampa, and then I went home, and I was like depressed. I couldn't even listen to Star Wars music or anything because I was like so upset that it was over.
Just playing a sad yub nub. Just like,
yeah. And then for like a week after that, I was still like really sad that it was.
Yeah, we talked about that first.
And that's what it kind of feels like right now. It's because not being there. But if I don't. I will be livid if we do not go next time.
This year just didn't work out. We were gonna go.
Yeah.
And then we never could because of work and business and stuff. We were like, we got to nail these dates down. And it's like, okay, all right, let's buy our tickets. And we went online, and all the tickets were gone. And it was like, holy crap.
Yeah.
I told him I bought my 4-day pass like 4 or 5 months after tickets released for Orlando.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was like no problem getting them.
Yeah.
And then this time, like within the first week, it was
they were gone. And we were like, well,
what's going on, man?
I guess we're going.
Who knows?
Anyways, this has been a really fun episode. I love
Star
talking
Wars.
about Star Wars. For the first time in a long time, it's been fun talking about Star Wars for me, at least.
We've been talking, honestly, like, this is the first real episode that we've talked really, like, hardcore about Star Wars.
Yeah.
And that makes me really happy.
Well, there's so much stuff about the Avengers and Shazam and all the comic book movies, so then,
there's more Star Wars stuff that comes out this summer. Like, I'm excited
to
just keep on talking about it. So.
D23.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
that's right.
For sure.
True.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, this has been a fun episode. Thanks to Mike for joining us.
Hey, it was great to be
We'll probably
here.
have him on all the Star Wars episodes.
I look forward to doing it again.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to be on for Endgame too.
Yeah,
so.
might have to
since we're all
consider it.
Since we're all going to that. So.
But yeah, this has been fun. Don't forget to enter into the contest for the Avengers tickets giveaway. Also follow us on Instagram and Twitter. You can find the links to those in the description down below from wherever you're listening. Anything else you want to add, Grayson?
Yeah, actually, one more thing. So, we're actually trying to shorten down some of the episodes just because we can keep it a bit more concise for you guys.
This one's a long one.
So, if you guys would do the
my fault.
I'm
a loudmouth.
It's just so much to talk about.
Yeah, but we are going to try and start experimenting and putting smaller clips on things that we don't get to on the podcast on YouTube.
Yeah.
So if you guys are interested and want to hear more from us on smaller things, just brief, maybe 10, no more than 15-minute episodes of just one topic, please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel.
There's no link to it yet because we haven't hit 100 subscribers. So if you want to subscribe, that'd be great. We don't have our own official link yet, but it'll be in the description of wherever you're listening to.
Subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah,
Let's do that when we get off the podcast.
Yeah.
So we'll
find your friends and create like 30 accounts and subscribe to us. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, but that's all
I've
I've got.
Nothing else, they just want to get on to see what we look like. So
we need to get a camera eventually.
I'm saving up.
Yeah, we'll do that. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. We hope that you enjoyed this episode, and we will see you guys next week.
May the Force be with you.